Hi guys, Paul here.
Josh.
And Mike.
ManiacsMeat podcast, a very...
Scary Halloween?
A very, very scary Halloween to you all.
Need a little citrus in mine.
I need a little boost.
It's gonna taste like hell.
So what are we doing tonight, Paul?
Tell ya, I'm just...
Well,
you know what?
good.
Watching him drink that massive crap is...
No, that's actually better.
Better? Better than this fucking film. Anyway,
That's not hard to accomplish.
So what we're doing tonight is we're talking about two films with the same name. One made in 1981 and one made in 2013, titled The Evil Dead.
The Evil Dead.
The Evil Dead, and not Evil Dead. The Evil Dead. You know what? That little tiny word makes a big difference. Anyway,
Yeah, that one doesn't have the.
No, because it's just evil shit. It's made by similar people, Tappert, Raimi, Campbell. They were producers in the new one, of course. The Sandweiss, Tappert, Raimi, Russo, blah 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 blah. Were in the first one as well. Kind of started everything off. Really changed. I guess it's one of those game changer films where people saw it. It helped people get into the underground filmmaking, the underground films in general, horror. The approach, because it was a serious horror film. They tried to make it a serious horror film even though they didn't have any budget. The film in 2013, grossing in on money just because of capitalism, had a shit ton of money, even though it had more flaws than the original, especially in continuity, which is really kind of comical. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So, Josh, you're the problem. You're the reason that this thing even is going on right now. I blame you for everything. So, what's your opinion of both films?
Finally watched it, huh?
I've seen this. I saw it in theaters.
Twice.
Oh, that's right.
But, why is this my fucking
You
thing?
I actually think it's my fault.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm the one that said, it would be a good idea if we took the old movies and compared them to the new movies.
You gave me a copy.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. I think it's something we need to talk about.
We're all having allergies.
We need to address the elephant in the room and talk about remakes and originals.
Okay, and which I hate anyway.
Exactly. Some people,
this is a good thing.
Yeah, because we like to have Paul go on his tangents.
I don't do that.
But, I had the unfortunate pleasure of going to see this in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God I didn't fucking pay for it, because I would have been pissed. I did pay for my popcorn.
I heard you went twice.
I don't know. Maybe I did. I might have went twice.
Blacked out the other memory.
I might have been very drunk or high.
You were giving somebody a head.
Yeah, anyway. But no, I did see this in theaters, and it was terrible. It was garbage. I knew it would be. I had no faith.
Mm-hmm.
But, there was elements of the film that I didn't think were terrible. But to call it Evil Dead
You know what? We were
so...
talking about this before. I saw The Wolfman in theaters in 2010.
That sounds about right.
If it wasn't called The Wolfman, or like something like Legend of the Wolf, something like that, it wouldn't be completely horrible. Because you wouldn't be standing it up next to a legend. This has the same kind of thing.
That was one of my issues with this, was because I said if you took the title away and then took away some of the stuff that they tried to do, like shot for shot stuff, I was like, this wouldn't have been a horrible horror film.
Did you ever notice that
fine? It would have been mediocre, but it wouldn't have been bad. Did you notice
the one thing that they forgot to do was the camera angles?
Oh, yeah.
The one thing that they should have done was the camera angles. I did see the classic behind where the girl was sitting on it at the beginning, which you can't miss it.
Yeah,
I thought they were going to put it in more that Easter egg kind of angle.
No, it's totally
she's
right
sitting
there.
on the
It
fucking
smacks you in the
thing.
face.
You know what I mean? It's okay. There you go. Thank you. That I looked for Easter eggs in the film. I didn't see any posters on the wall. I didn't see any Freddy gloves. I didn't see anything like that. I didn't see any hockey masks. I didn't see any fucking Michael Myers mask. I didn't see any pinheads. You're expecting those tropes, because that's what horror fans enjoy, dick fucks. We didn't see any of that. The one time when the girl was being possessed in the new one, she did have a harken back to Evil Dead 2. There was a little bit of that playing in the background.
Yeah.
It was a hard film to watch. There was more. I say again, there was more continuity issues in this one that has $1 billion budget than the original that had no budget. It was a little rough to watch. Michael, go for it.
So I watched this the first time the whole way through back when I picked up the DVD in 2013. I want to say.
That's when it came out.
Yeah, I got it shortly after it came.
So you paid way too much for it.
Yeah, we paid way. Well, no, I actually got a good deal, and I went to Hanks.
Yeah,
I think that's where I got mine from.
What did you pay for it?
And I don't remember.
You paid way too much for it.
Any amount was too much.
Yes, but I got mine for free, and I want my money back.
I watched it the whole way through the first time, and I was like, "Well, good God, that was a piece of trash."
Mm-hmm.
And then I, just scrubbed it from my memory.
Mm-hmm.
And then I knew that we were getting ready to do this, so I attempted to rewatch it. And kept falling asleep or just I was not vested in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I probably rewatched it 5 times. I started it over and over and over and kept not making it through.
Right.
Overall, like I said, I thought that if you took the title Evil Dead away and got rid of some of the stuff that they were trying to tie it to the Evil Dead, it would have been a mediocre, okay horror film.
The problem with this, it has this element of dark comedy, but with no jokes.
Yeah, there were. Well, yeah, and I know I was talking to you before we started. I was
the
like,
whole movie was the joke.
Yeah,
I was like,
the joke that you're sitting through.
I know this came out afterwards, but I was like, this was like watching Cabin in the Woods without the comedy.
Yeah,
and a
shittier
version of Cabin in the Woods.
This was a scary movie in Evil Dead form because this guy one thing. People jump to conclusions way too fast in this film.
Way too fast.
The first thing I can say, are you still gonna? Are you going? Can I?
You can go. Like I'm
gonna say something quick. You can harken back and forth. A bunch of teenagers want to go out for the weekend. Find a cheap place to go. They go. Shit goes down. One survives. The end. That's fucking simple. No. Let's go out to a family fucking cottage that they all own. There's pictures of them all over the fucking place. Even though they don't know there's a whole bunch of different rooms downstairs because every time they fucking search the cabin, they act like they knew. What's this thing? I don't know. It's a penis. I have one. But it's like that. Who the fuck were these fucking people? Why is there a bunch of fucking things down in the basement? Why do you have to have a sister that's relapsing on drugs the fucking time while your mother dies while you're away in Chicago trying to get a new job? You come back to your family cabin. This is all too fucking complicated for a simple fucking horror film.
And again, find the book. I'm going to clip off all the barbed wire that's around this damn thing.
The fucking nerdy ass, completely unlikable high school teacher, a learned man, automatically jumps to witchcraft in like a second. Witchcraft, and then takes he never held a fucking tool in his life. Clips off all the barbed wire wrapping around this book. I hate it. It's too obviously. Let me just go back to a second. Downstairs, first he says witchcraft without any kind of connotations. If you go to my house, there's a bunch of fucking dead bodies all over the place too. But guess what? I don't do witchcraft.
Just kill 'em.
And you know what I mean? And then he goes, "Look at that." There is nothing singling out that book in the background at all. Nothing. No light. No aura, no this, no that, nothing is singling out that book. But he said, "Look at that book." Why did he say that? Fucking bullshit. Horrible script writing. You guys are fucking worthless.
I find it hard
and
to
then,
believe.
Before anything, the book is upstairs with a shotgun. When the fuck did they ever find a shotgun with a box of shells? At some point.
I find it hard to believe, the suspension of disbelief, that somebody would actively clip off barbed wire from around the book and then begin to read it. Like, when everything's already so screwed up that you're figuring out, I'd just be like, look, we need to leave this shit alone.
Opens
Did
the
they
barbed
find
wire.
the skulls and stuff down there by that point?
Yeah.
Don't you think you'd be like, hey, let's not touch anything. This is clearly a crime scene.
So guess what? Guess who says logic? You shouldn't touch that thing. The bitch that fucking snorts heroin. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't have did that because no one would be in here. No one would be here in the fucking first place, and the movie wouldn't fucking happen. Go suck your fucking own dick, you piece of shit. Anyway, so what's going on? He opens the goddamn book by clipping off all the fucking barbed wire, opens it up and says, "Do not read this," and keeps going. And then it says, "Do not say this, do not write this, do not speak this." So what does he do? He scribbles it and starts reading it out loud. You know what? Just kill yourself. You know what? You're actually 50% of the American populace that you need to die too, so fuck you.
It was very difficult. It was very difficult to believe that somebody would ever do that. Especially, like I said, like, I'm almost positive that when they went down there that first time, they find the skeleton. There's a skeleton down there, right? Like, I'm not wrong about that.
There's a bunch of fucking shit hanging everywhere.
Yeah,
and guess
like,
what?
But like the person that was the person.
Well, I mean, let me just make a point here while he has to go beat a child.
You just scared the shit out of me.
Did you notice? Maybe it's just me. I live in an old place.
Yeah.
You know, I live in an old house, and when I was remodeling, it had the same kind of floor pattern, where it's the old boards with the big gaps between the boards. They're in there, happy-pappy, lucky-loosey, no problem. They open the basement. Wow, it stinks down there. Excuse me, there's fucking holes, like cracks between boards like this.
Yeah.
All that smell's just going to come right up. Believe me, I have an old house.
You're going to smell it as soon as you walked in.
Yeah, as soon as you walk in, it's going to permeate the whole house. It's going to come up. But like, they're magically finding all these smells. They're magically finding all these rooms that they don't even know about.
Yeah.
The guy goes down there for a whole night and removes corpses. And then the next time he goes down, he finds another room with water in it.
It's almost like the 80s didn't have it set up but did better job.
They made it simple.
Yeah, and then these guys are trying to make a story.
I was mentioning the fact that even though there's boards with cracks that you can see the light through, until they went down to the cellar, they never noticed the smell. That would automatically happen. Logic, people. Logic.
There's so many things. Like, these are, because in the movie
Believe
set
me,
up,
my
like,
basement
all these
stinks.
Set up, like, all these characters in this film are educated people. They're well-off, educated people.
Yes.
That's the impression that you're given. I find it very hard to believe they go downstairs after smelling something, like, they clearly smell something that's not right. Then they find, like, the blood smear, I believe, like, leading to the thing. And all of these well-educated, well-off people decide to investigate, rather, and they continue down and then find the stuff that they find downstairs. And not once does any of them say, we should really get some authorities involved. Clearly something bad has happened here.
And I like the fact, though, this is their cabin.
Yeah, it's not.
It belongs to them.
And it's not like they're trapped there by any sense.
No, they can leave at any point in time.
Yeah, I mean, like...
And I just find this convoluted idea that she's a recovering addict. You can't go anywhere. A hospital will not help her. A hospital won't let her fucking out. And the one registered nurse, I gave her enough sedatives to put down a horse. Since when is it okay for nurses just to randomly steal sedatives from a fucking... No one just carries sedatives around. You stole this shit, but you're not admitting
does in Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but that's a doctor. Yeah, that's a doctor and it's a comedy. But no, you don't just take medicine and randomly have medicine because, oh, I'm a nurse, I have a whole bunch of medicine.
It all goes back to Ghostbusters.
You know, it all goes back to Ghostbusters. You know what? That's a little bit less of a joke than this fucking film. But we were talking about like the stench, the fact that they found an extra room after the room, the fact that the only person that actually talked a little bit of logic is the retard that wants to shoot fucking heroin up her fucking twat the whole goddamn time. It's fucking stupid. Like, this film makes no sense.
Can we address the elephant in the room and talk about the lack of Bruce Campbell in the film?
Well,
at least because the guy was Ash Williams, he should have at least a better cameo than the end credits.
Yeah.
I feel he should have been at least the store clerk, or the gas station guy, or any role he could possibly...
I really don't think... from what I recall, and I could be way off, and if somebody knows, you can feel free to correct me, but my understanding was that the Raimis and Campbell didn't want anything to do with this. And they kind of got their arms twisted into doing it. It was either like, you're going to do this, or else we're just going to do it on our own without you guys.
They didn't do it for free. They got paid.
So they kind of did it.
What I was told was supposed to happen is this film was supposed to play out, and then Sam Raimi were going to make a movie where somehow a portal opens up and this girl and Bruce Campbell collide, and then they realize there's two different dimensions where Evil Dead still takes place in another universe, and they're going to battle the Deadites together. And I don't think that ever happened, obviously.
The girl is freaking out because she's off drugs. In literally less than an hour, she's having it took 8 hours the last time, but apparently it only takes an hour this time. She's having a fucking DT fit. She leaves. She's screaming and doing all this stuff. No, what am I doing? You're driving a fucking car. Look forward. You know? She ends up in a fucking swamp, right? Where she goes, a bog. I guess you call it a bog.
Yeah.
The fucking front tire isn't even covered. She gets out and goes into 5 feet of fucking water. What was that about? Did you see that?
Yeah, just a hole.
She just You know what I mean? And then she's like up to her fucking nose the whole time. I'm like, your car's not even submerged in this chicken shit. Where did this extra water come from? So then she gets tangled up, and it gives you that kind of, oh, where's the tree rape? Oh, where's the tree rape? Well, this fucking stupid Amityville horror remake bitch kind of shows up, vomits a fucking black
Hair?
snake.
It looks like hair.
Like a tree blah. It crawls up and goes up under her pussy, because we're going to assume everyone doesn't wear underwear anymore, because at least in the first one, the penetration went through the underwear. That's the point of the penetration. It wasn't just to get her hard because, ooh. You know what I mean? You have to get through shit.
I like this episode.
Just use fucking, like, honestly, logic. What the fuck are you doing?
Oh, I get thrown out the door.
Can I tell you one of my big gripes with this film?
What,
And
is it amazing?
but it might seem trivial, I suppose, but one of the things that I always thought the Evil Dead franchise had going for it was a male protagonist in a horror film. Because you don't see many horror films with a male protagonist.
That's true.
They're almost always a female protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
And with
almost
Evil
sexist.
Dead, and the Evil Dead
I was gonna
remake-
say the feminists are
it's
gonna.
the idea
fuck
of like, I don't know if it's like purity or if it's an idea of innocence or what it is.
It's that
but,
affirmative action people are gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, I mean maybe.
Yeah.
But
in just before dawn, she literally punches her throat down the bad guy's.
Like it's always unique in like older action movies or science fiction films when you see like a female lead, like Ripley or something like that. Like Ripley, big deal. Like female lead for like an action sci-fi genre. Like a strong female.
Laurie Strode,
and it's great.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why it stood out. One of the reasons why Evil Dead always stood out to me was because it was a male lead in a horror franchise, which doesn't happen that often. They almost always follow the female protagonist, which is fine.
Yep.
But that's one of the things that made this unique. And they totally
they missed the fucking point.
In Evil Dead. I thought that was such a unique
the
thing
original
about
Evil Dead.
Fuck,
The scared Ash has to fight his fears and fight back.
Yeah.
She has to overcome addiction, get possessed, cut her fucking tongue in half, that fucking magically heals herself when she comes back from the dead, die, get buried alive, resurrected by a 12-volt battery that wouldn't fucking work in real life, and when she comes back, then she has to rip her own goddamn arm off, which she would have went into shock.
That really
she
didn't
would
make
have
much
died.
sense to me at all.
Then she has to magically start a chainsaw with one hand, which you can't fucking do. Then shove it through a non-running chainsaw, because it doesn't go at all. It does nothing. And then she shoves it to the zombie's fucking head, cuts him in half, and then saves the day. You know what? Fuck you.
Like we were saying, even in the original Evil Dead, when he gets the chainsaw in the hand, he has the hook, the leather
start.
has
You
the
need
hook
to
so he
force
can
it away
start
from
it.
you.
That was the whole reason. Like they go out of their way to give you that. Like in this, like I was like, how?
Yeah. The chainsaws have like little safe things you gotta hold too.
Buttons and stuff you have to hit.
You gotta.
She'd have to like stand on it with one foot and put the other foot in the thing and lift up on it and try and.
Well, ask the
yank
fucking
it
Venom
like,
to shoot out of her fucking pussy that she just wraps around and you know what I mean? Like Jesus Christ, I don't even know what the fuck.
If I remember correctly, because I kept again on the rewatches, I kept falling asleep by the time you got to the.
I was looking for that logic. I was looking for that one window that made sense.
If I remember correctly, doesn't she get her arm off pretty easily? She's able to rip it off.
She's
like she's just like,
fuck this. And
I was like, what?
It breaks here. She rips it off here. The next thing you see, it's here. That's So fuck you. And then the other thing is, it's just this kind of stuff happens on and on and on. And every time someone gets a little cut, you swear to God you're watching something sponsored by High C Kool-Aid, but filmed by fucking Fulce, because every time someone gets cut, a bucket of fucking High C just goes into somebody's face.
I think that's probably what they were trying to achieve from the 80s. Because remember in Evil Dead 2, that was a big thing where they used buckets of blood.
See,
it was like a gag gift.
But they made it different colors for a reason, so it wasn't blood. Yeah. This is trying to be a serious horror film that's missing the fucking point every goddamn time.
Bothered me when he's like, I have to run back in and get the keys for the car, and like for something that whole scene, there's something about that whole segment where he's like, I gotta go back in and get the keys. Like you wait here. And then the brother dies or fucking whatever happens to him.
Yeah, he gets it right in the neck.
Something about that whole thing just really rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, you gotta run back in to get the key. I'm like, this just seems fucking like. I was like, what?
It's poorly written, cheap garbage. That's what it was.
Yeah, I was like, this is just you're just trying to.
And like, did you notice what actually happens when the guy gets him in the neck? Nothing.
Yeah.
He stands there and talks. So you didn't write anything for this, did you? This is filler. You made filler to tie up a loose end that was garbage to begin with. Congratulations.
So, Paul, what was your favorite part of the movie?
My favorite part of the movie was the ending.
Credits.
Yep.
Bruce Campbell at the very
When I didn't watch it that far. It was off immediately. What I hated was the lack of logic and continuity at all. Like, they didn't attempt to do it. They purposely attempted to make a bad movie with bad continuity, with bad special effects, with bad storytelling, and forced us to think it was good. And I hated that.
I just don't know why.
I found the dumb blonde bitch that should have been put in a fucking wood chipper.
Yeah.
She cut it, her arm got corrupted.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, if she, because I knew things and I knew things, but at the same time, I'm like, maybe I didn't know correctly.
Yeah.
Takes that, she cuts it off here, bam, bam, boom, she could be the Ash.
Yeah.
Well, you can't because she's a pretty blonde. That would fat, bold-like fucking feminist would be offended. You know what I mean? So, but what she do? She cuts it here at an angle, fucking angle.
She just cut it way too high.
Here's the thing: is she cuts it way too high at an angle. But the elephant, like you said, the elephant in the room is why is there a plugged in? Like nothing fell off the counter, but when she gets on the ground, there is a fucking meat, a turkey cutter. Like a meat cutter right there, happily plugged in with one of the longest cords ever existed on a fucking... Did you ever get one of those? They're like this long.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
They're 3-foot cords.
You gotta take the turkey over the wall and cut it.
There's a 16-foot cord on this fucking cutter right there.
I suppose one of the things I don't understand is why even attempt a remake on this? Like, I get
money.
I got it.
In.
Well, you see, here's the weird thing. Like, all right, so when you look at The Thing, which is, the remake, a remake or re-envisioning of The Thing from Another World.
Which they remade again.
Yeah, which they remade again.
Which they shouldn't
Which
have done.
is actually a prequel.
And The Fog, they did that again.
But, like, all right, so, like, even with The Fog, which I hated the remake, I was like, I could wrap my mind around it, because The Fog came out in, 1980? And the remake came out in 2005?
Yeah, it was 5 or 6. It was
5 or 6,
just
right?
graduated.
So you're like 25 years later, okay. And my impression was the idea was they just wanted to kind of update everything. That was my initial thought process on it. And I was like, all right, like that would be, and I was kind of excited at the time. I was like, all right, a remake of The Fog. It's going to be cool. Like they're just going to update stuff, update effects. They were going to change some stuff, but it shouldn't be too bad. And it was garbage. But this Evil Dead, like nobody ever has ever wanted a remake of Evil Dead.
No,
they don't want a remake. Nobody wants a remake of this film.
No, ever.
I can't imagine, like, other than the fact of let's try and cash in on a horror franchise that's beloved, like, by anybody that knows anything about horror movies.
I like the real joke at the end is too, let the woman that threw her life away countless times live at the end, only to be fucked up and probably do it again and probably OD again.
The bigger reason
if you're not shooting up after all that shit.
and the other thing is too, just the logic of the fact that you would have actually died. And the thing that really pisses me off, and it really does, and it just does because it does, everything that happens to you while you are possessed will be there when you wake the fuck up. Why isn't her tongue in fucking half? Why isn't this? Why isn't that? It doesn't magically go away. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't magically. I mean, like, what the fuck? And where does it say it doesn't? Where does it say? Even if you watch this too, fuck you, Bruce. Like, what the fuck? Like, no, I'm sorry.
Fuck you, shit, Malone.
Yeah, you fucking piece of shit. It doesn't just go away. You know what I mean? Like, so what you're saying, if that other bitch didn't get her fucking head stoved in by that piece of ceramic, her face would have just magically popped back on?
Oh,
No.
Wait. I'm going to pose an argument here. I can't believe I'm about to fucking even try and defend this.
Round 1.
And by the way,
Sheila in Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
She's possessed by Dice, right?
Yeah.
She gets stabbed through the chest, right?
Yeah, she should have died.
She didn't.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Well, look,
I completely agree with you.
I'm
It's
just saying.
bullshit.
I'm just saying.
No. She should have been dead. They should have. Oh my God! Look, you're better now, and you're dead. No, completely. It's an argument that I would even make to that.
I am by no means trying to defend.
I'm not going to change my opinion because it's a film I like. It's still, she should have died. It should have been a bittersweet ending. It shouldn't have been a happy ending.
It's a bittersweet.
Nope.
So, like, I want to go
back. This guy
back.
hasn't even said a word.
No, because you just took the fucking reins and ran with it, man. Like,
I haven't said anything.
You've said everything that we've all wanted to say. But I do want to go back, pedal back about, because Mike said about why would you make it. I really feel back in that time, Evil Dead was gaining some momentum, not only because us in the underground, we fucking grew up with this film. We knew about this film. But it also had
I
remember, like for instance, my sister. I remember my sisters. I let them borrow Evil Dead, and they were little, and they were like, "This is fucking garbage," and I'm like, "It's one of the greatest fucking movies ever made," and I let them borrow the first one, and then like years later, all of a sudden, Evil Dead's cool now to them.
Yeah,
and I think that's what it was. They realized because Bruce Campbell's become now a household name because he had at that time that My Name Is Bruce coming out. Man with the Screaming Brain.
Well, it also had the games by Boomstick.
Oh, yeah.
He started getting popularity too because, he was on Burn Notice and he was on shows and stuff like
Hercules
that.
Fucking Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. So I think what's happening is someone said, this is a chance to cash in on that movie because Bruce Campbell and the Evil Dead franchise is going to make a second round here. And I mean, with Ash vs. the Evil Dead, it really did. Though it came a little bit later on.
But they popped this, what, 10 years?
A little too early. And I think, honestly,
7 years
I really think if they would have stuck... You have right here. You have a great script. If you would have just followed this, and kind of just change. If you want to change the actors,
One thing.
I think you would have had a better movie.
Even just do a direct sequel.
Just do a direct. Sometimes, like there are parts in the film where they didn't go far enough.
Yeah.
When got cut short.
When her hand was already off, right?
Yeah.
And then she was going with the crowbar, blew his fucking other arm off.
Yeah.
Then she goes back into human form. Why did my face hurt thing? And here, like, that's an emotional moment where you could have really played on, and she could have been laughing this, and then she could have turned back because what happened to her? She didn't get mutilated.
Well, that's part of the thing too, like the laughing into the screaming that always happens.
Yeah.
Yes, about a part in the movie you like. Did enjoy the effect for her hitting the dude with the crowbar in the hand.
And then the hand went...
like the way the hand looked after. Like that whole thing, like that whack, and like the hand, like...
Yeah,
did enjoy that effect.
The amazing...
Did enjoy that effect.
The magic of using CGI in dark places.
Did enjoy that effect.
But it's like that well, it didn't tie up that loose end. She's still possessed. But it was nice that he was fucking with her. She was fucking with him.
You know what would have made me happy for this? Instead of making
it never happened.
But instead of making a remake, if they want to cash in, if the whole premise is to cash in